You're lying in a hospital bed, the sterile smell of antiseptic burning your nose, your body aching from surgery, all because your sister begged you to save her life. You gave her your kidney, a piece of yourself, thinking you were her hero. Now picture her standing over you, not with gratitude, but with a smirk, confessing she sold that kidney on the black market to fund her luxury lifestyle. Designer bags, 5-star trips, the works. That's what my sister Clara did to me. I'm Mia, and this is the story of how I survived her betrayal, fought back, and watched karma deliver the justice she deserved. I'm at my desk in my small apartment, grading a stack of history essays under the dim glow of a desk lamp, when my phone buzzes with Clara's name on the screen. "Mia, I'm dying," she sobs, her voice trembling through the line, each word a jagged edge that cuts through my focus. My heart stops. She's my little sister, 28 to my 32, the wild one who's always needed saving. She's been on dialysis for months, her kidneys failing from a rare condition that hit her hard last year, leaving her frail and dependent on machines to survive. "They found a donor match, it's you. Please, I'm begging you, save my life." I'm a high school teacher, not a doctor, but I know what this means. Surgery, recovery, risks to my own health. I hesitate, my mind racing. My job, my students, my own life flash before me like a montage of responsibilities I can't ignore. But her sobs break me, each one a dagger in my chest, pulling me back to childhood memories of protecting her from bullies, helping her with homework, being her rock when our parents were too busy fighting to notice us. "I'll do it," I say, my voice steady despite the fear clawing at my insides, a cold sweat breaking out on my forehead. She cries with relief, her voice cracking as she promises to make it up to me, to be a better sister, to finally get her life together after years of reckless choices, partying, debt, failed relationships. I believe her. I have to. She's my sister, the only family I have left since our parents passed in a car accident 5 years ago. We schedule the surgery for next month at St. Mary's Hospital, and I spend weeks preparing, getting blood tests, arranging leave from school, telling myself I'm doing the right thing. Clara's at every appointment, clinging to my arm, her green eyes wide with gratitude, her pale face framed by dark hair that's lost its shine from months of illness. "You're my hero, Mia," she whispers, her voice thick with emotion, and I feel a surge of pride. I'm saving her life, giving her a future, being the big sister she needs. But as the surgery date nears, I notice things that don't add up. Clara's new designer purse, a sleek leather bag I know she can't afford on her barista salary, especially with medical bills piling up. Her nails are freshly manicured, her hair highlighted with expensive streaks, and she keeps mentioning a big trip she's planning once she's better. Her tone casual, but her eyes darting away when I ask how she's paying for it. I brush it off, chalking it up to her coping mechanism. Maybe she's treating herself to feel normal amid the chaos of dialysis, the endless hospital visits, the fear of death looming over her. I tell myself I'm overthinking, that she's just trying to stay positive, to hold on to hope in her own way. I couldn't have been more wrong, but I wouldn't see the truth until it was too late, until after I'd given her a piece of me, literally, and learned the devastating cost of my trust. The day of the surgery arrives, and I'm terrified, lying on the gurney in a sterile room at St. Mary's Hospital as nurses prep me with brisk efficiency. Clara's in the next room, her surgery scheduled right after mine to receive my kidney, the organ that's supposed to give her a new lease on life. I grip her hand before they wheel me away, her fingers cold and trembling against mine, her skin clammy from nerves. "I love you, Mia," she says, tears streaming down her pale cheeks, her green eyes searching mine for reassurance. I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat. I'm doing this for her, for the sister I've always protected, the one I've pulled out of countless messes over the years. The anesthesia kicks in, a cold rush through my veins, and I'm out. the world fading to black as the operating room lights blur above me. Hours later, I wake in recovery, groggy, a sharp pain slicing through my left side where my kidney used to be. I'm weak, my mouth dry as sandpaper, my body heavy with exhaustion. My first thought is Clara. I need to know she's okay. "How's my sister?" I ask the nurse, my voice hoarse, barely above a whisper. She smiles, adjusting my IV with a gentle touch. "She's doing well, already up and talking." Relief washes over me like a warm wave. We made it through the worst. I close my eyes, letting the pain meds pull me back into a hazy sleep, clinging to the hope that this sacrifice will bring us closer, that Clara will finally turn her life around. But when Clara visits later that day, something's off. She's fidgety, avoiding my gaze, her new gold bracelet glinting under the harsh hospital lights, a stark contrast to the faded gown she's wearing. "You okay?" I ask, wincing as I shift in bed, the pain flaring with every movement. She nods quickly, too quickly, muttering, "Yeah, just tired," before darting out of the room, her footsteps echoing down the hall. I'm uneasy, but I blame the pain meds fogging my mind, making me paranoid, turning every small detail into a looming threat. Days pass, and I'm discharged, moving slow, my body still healing from the major surgery. I'm stuck on the couch at home, barely able to stand without dizziness, relying on my neighbor to bring me groceries while I recover. Clara's recovery, though, seems miraculous. She's out shopping, posting selfies on social media, her smile wide as she shows off new clothes, jewelry, even a new phone, things she shouldn't be able to afford. I call her, confused, my voice weak as I clutch the phone. "How are you doing so well already? I can barely move." She laughs, but it's sharp, almost annoyed. "Oh, I'm just lucky, I guess. Gotta run. Talk later." She hangs up before I can press her, leaving me with a gnawing unease. Then I get a hospital bill in the mail. My surgery's covered, but there's a strange charge, a processing fee, for the transplant. $5,000 I wasn't expecting. I call the hospital, my stomach churning with dread. The clerk hesitates, her voice tense. "There was no transplant, Ms. Carter. Your kidney was diverted." My blood runs cold. Diverted? What does that even mean? I'm shaking, the phone slipping in my hand as the truth starts to claw its way to the surface. I drive to Clara's apartment that night, ignoring the pain shooting through my side with every turn of the wheel, my stitches pulling as I grip the steering wheel. I'm still healing, but I need answers, now. She opens the door, her face paling when she sees me standing there, my eyes blazing with questions, my hands trembling with a mix of fear and fury. "What do you mean, diverted?" I demand, my voice shaking as I step forward, forcing her to back up. She tries to close the door, but I push past her, my heart pounding as I step into her living room. It's a shrine to luxury. Designer bags on the couch, a new flat-screen TV mounted on the wall, a stack of travel brochures for the Maldives and Paris on the coffee table, a new leather jacket draped over a chair. The air smells of expensive perfume, and I spot a plane ticket to Bali on the counter, dated for next month. "Clara, what's going on?" I shout, my hands trembling as I take in the scene, my mind racing to make sense of it. She backs away, her green eyes darting, but there's nowhere to run in the small space. I didn't get your kidney," she blurts, her voice cracking, her hands twisting together. I freeze, my breath catching in my throat. "What?" I whisper, my voice barely audible. "I sold it," she says, her words a punch to my gut, knocking the air from my lungs. "I sold your kidney on the black market. I needed the money, Mia. I was drowning in debt, and I couldn't keep living like that." I'm reeling, my vision blurring with tears of shock, my legs threatening to give out beneath me. "You sold my kidney?" I scream, my voice echoing in the small space, my hands clenched into fists at my sides. "I gave it to save your life, and you sold it for this." I gesture at the luxury around us, my stomach churning as I spot a $3,000 handbag, its price tag still attached. She nods, tears streaming down her face, but there's no remorse in her eyes, just defiance, a coldness I've never seen before. I deserved a better life. You've always had it easy. Good job, stable life, friends who care. I had nothing but debt and dialysis. Her words cut deep, rewriting our history, erasing the years I spent bailing her out, paying her rent when she was evicted, covering her bills when she couldn't, being her safety net through every bad decision. I'm shaking, betrayal burning through me like acid, my chest tight with rage and grief. I risked my life for you, Clara. I gave you a piece of me, and you turned it into cash for your selfish dreams? She shrugs, her lips curling into a smirk that makes my blood boil. I got $50,000 for it. I'm set now. New life, new me. You'll be fine. You've got another kidney. I'm speechless, her callousness a knife in my heart. I turn to leave, my vision blurred with tears, but she grabs my arm, her voice desperate. Mia, wait! I'll make it right, I swear! I yank free, my voice a hiss. You're a monster! I stumble out, my body screaming in pain, my heart shattered. I gave her everything, and she threw it away for a life of luxury. I'll make her pay for this no matter what it takes. I'm a wreck, but I'm not broken. I'm furious, a fire igniting inside me that won't be extinguished. I call my best friend, Lena, a nurse who knows the medical world inside out, her voice a lifeline as I spill everything through sobs. Clara sold my kidney, I tell her, my voice trembling, my hands shaking as I clutch the phone. Lena's silent for a moment, then her tone hardens, her words sharp with resolve. That's illegal, Mia. Organ trafficking's a crime, not to mention fraud and assault. We need to go to the police. Now. I nod, resolve stealing inside me like a blade being forged. I'm not letting Clara get away with this. Not after what she's done to me, to my trust, to my body. We head to the police station that night, the fluorescent lights harsh against my tear-streaked face as I file a report. I recount every detail, the desperate plea, the surgery, the hospital bill, Clara's confession, my voice breaking as I relive the betrayal. The detective, a gruff man named Harris with a scar across his cheek, listens intently, his brow furrowing deeper with every word. This is serious, he says, his voice low. We'll investigate the hospital and track the black market chain. But we need evidence. Can you get her to admit it again, on record? I nod, my jaw tight, my hands clenched in my lap. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to bring her down. The next day, I call Clara, recording the conversation on my phone, my heart pounding as I force my voice to stay calm. I can't believe you sold my kidney, I say, my voice raw with hurt. She hesitates, then snaps, her tone sharp and unapologetic. I had to, Mia. You wouldn't understand. You've never struggled like me. I was drowning, and that money saved me. Her words are a confession, clear as day, and I hang up, my hands shaking as I save the recording. I hand it to Detective Harris, who nods grimly, his eyes narrowing. This is enough to move forward. Good work. They raid Clara's apartment that night, and I watch from a distance, parked across the street, my heart pounding as police swarm her building. They find receipts for her luxury purchases, $5,000 handbags, $2,000 shoes, a $10,000 deposit for a Bali trip, and encrypted messages on her laptop linking her to a black market broker named Victor, a known player in organ trafficking. Clara's arrested, her face pale as they cuff her, but she glares at me through the window, her eyes full of hate as a coordinator named Sandra were in on it, diverting organs to the black market for cash. My kidney was sold for $150,000, split between the hospital staff and Clara, who got $50,000 to fund her lavish lifestyle. $50,000 for a piece of me, for the pain I endured, for the trust I lost. I'm horrified, My trust in the medical system shattered as I realize how deep this betrayal goes. I meet with a lawyer, Sarah, a fierce woman with a reputation for taking down corrupt institutions, her eyes blazing with determination as I tell her my story. We'll sue the hospital for malpractice, emotional distress, and negligence, Sarah says, her voice steady. And we'll make sure those doctors lose their licenses. They'll never practice again. I agree, my anger fueling me. I want justice, not just for me, but for anyone else they've hurt, for the patients who trusted them, who might still be at risk. The hospital tries to settle, offering me $500,000 to stay quiet, their lawyer's voice smooth as he slides the offer across the table. I refuse, my voice firm as I push the papers back. I want them exposed, I tell Sarah, my hands clenched in my lap. I want the world to know what they did. The case goes to court, and I testify, my voice steady as I recount the betrayal, the surgery, the aftermath, my hands gripping the stand as I face the jury. I trusted St. Mary's to save my sister's life, I say, my voice breaking. Instead, they sold my kidney, profited from my pain, and left me to pick up the pieces. The courtroom is silent, the jury's faces a mix of shock and sympathy, some wiping tears as I speak. The hospital's lawyers try to pin it all on Clara, claiming she acted alone, but the evidence, emails between Sandra and the surgeons, bank records showing the $150,000 payment, witness statements from nurses who saw suspicious activity, is overwhelming. The surgeons are convicted of fraud and malpractice, their licenses revoked, and the hospital is fined $10 million, with $2 million awarded to me in damages. I'm relieved, but the victory feels hollow. My body still bears the scar, and my sister's betrayal cuts deeper than any knife, a wound that money can't heal. Clara's trial is a media storm. Headlines scream about the kidney sister scandal, and I'm hounded by reporters as I enter the courthouse, their cameras flashing in my face. She's charged with organ trafficking, fraud, and assault, facing up to 20 years. Her once vibrant life now reduced to a prison jumpsuit and handcuffs. I take the stand, my hands trembling as I face her, my heart pounding as I see her across the room. She won't look at me, her head bowed, her dark hair limp against her pale face, but I see the new designer watch on her wrist. A bitter reminder of what she did, a purchase made with my sacrifice. She begged me to save her life, I tell the jury, my voice breaking as I relive the memory. I gave her my kidney, risked my health, my future, because I loved her. And she sold it for $50,000 to buy luxury goods while I was still recovering, unable to work, unable to even stand without pain. The jury gasps, and Clara finally looks up, her eyes wet with tears. But I see no remorse, just fear, her lips trembling as she realizes the weight of her actions. I hold up photos of her new life, selfies from Paris, a $5,000 handbag, a receipt for a $10,000 Bali trip, all paid for with my kidney, my pain. This is what she bought with my sacrifice, I say, my voice steady now, my anger giving me strength. Clara's lawyer tries to twist it, claiming she was desperate, manipulated by the hospital, that I knew about the sale and wanted a cut. I'm furious, my voice rising as I shout, "That's a lie! I trusted her with my life. She was my sister." The jury's faces are grim. They see through her defense, their eyes narrowing as the prosecution plays my recorded call, her confession echoing in the courtroom. "I had to, Mia. You wouldn't understand. You've never struggled like me." The evidence piles up, bank records showing the $50,000 deposit, the nurse's testimony about seeing Clara with a shady coordinator, even a recorded call from the black market broker, Victor, who names Clara as his contact. The prosecutor's final blow, the billionaire buyer, caught in Europe, confirms he paid $150,000 for my kidney, with Clara as the middleman. She's done. The jury deliberates for just 2 hours. She's found guilty on all counts, sentenced to 15 years. As she's led away, she turns to me, her voice a hiss, her eyes blazing with hatred. "I hate you, Mia." I don't flinch. I'm done with her. Done with the guilt, the pain, the sister I thought I knew. The courtroom clears and I step outside, the weight of her betrayal lifting, the cool air a balm on my raw nerves. I've fought for justice, and I've won, but the real victory is still to come. Clara's conviction marks the end of a nightmare, but it's not the end of her story, or mine. I'm left with one kidney, a scar on my side, and a heart still healing from her betrayal. The $2 million from the hospital lawsuit gives me a financial cushion, but I don't touch it for myself. I donate half to a charity fighting organ trafficking, a cause I now care about deeply, one that's given me purpose in the wake of my pain. The rest I use to start over, moving to a small coastal town in Oregon where the ocean's rhythm soothes my soul. Its endless waves a reminder that life moves forward, even after the worst storms. I keep teaching, but I switch to online classes, giving myself space to heal, to rediscover who I am without Clara's shadow looming over me. I rent a quaint cottage near the beach, its walls painted a soft blue, and fill it with books, art supplies, and the sound of seagulls outside my window. Months pass, and I hear through Lena that Clara's struggling in prison. She's been shunned by other inmates, her story making her a pariah. Nobody trusts a woman who'd sell her sister's kidney for a quick buck. I feel a pang of pity. She's my sister after all, the little girl I used to braid hair for, the one I'd comfort after nightmares. But it fades fast. She made her choices, and now she's living with them, just as I'm living with the consequences of her betrayal. I focus on my new life, painting by the beach, my easel set up on the sand as I capture the sunset in shades of orange and pink. I make friends in town. A local baker named Ellie who brings me fresh scones. A retired fisherman named Tom who tells me stories of the sea. I'm finding peace, piece by piece, the scar on my body a reminder of my strength, not my pain. Then karma delivers its final blow. A year into her sentence, Clara's health takes a nosedive. Ironic, since she never got the kidney she needed to survive long term. Her condition worsens, and she's back on dialysis. But prison healthcare is underfunded, the waitlist for treatment long and brutal. She writes me a letter, her handwriting shaky, the paper smudged with what I can only assume are tears. "Mia, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please, I need you. I'm dying and I can't do this alone," it reads. I stare at the words, memories of her betrayal flooding back, her smirk as she confessed, the luxury she bought with my sacrifice, the way she looked at me in court, her eyes full of hate. I feel nothing but cold resolve, my heart hardened by the pain she caused. I don't reply. I burn the letter, the flames consuming her words as I stand on my balcony, the ashes scattering in the ocean wind. She's on her own, just like I was when she left me broken, recovering from a surgery I never should have needed. Clara's story ends tragically. She passes away in prison 2 years into her sentence, her body too weak to fight anymore, her remaining kidney failing under the stress of her condition and the harsh prison environment. The news hits me hard, a mix of grief and relief washing over me as I read the headline on my phone. Woman convicted in kidney trafficking case dies in prison. I mourn the sister I thought I had, the little girl I'd protected growing up, the one who'd climb into my bed during thunderstorms, her small hand clutching mine. But I don't mourn the woman she became, the one who chose greed over family, who sold my kidney for a life of luxury she didn't deserve. Her death makes headlines again, a cautionary tale about the consequences of betrayal, a story that sparks debates about organ trafficking laws and prison healthcare. I'm left standing, stronger than ever, my life rebuilt on my terms. I open a small art studio in town with my savings, teaching kids to paint, pouring my heart into every lesson as I watch their faces light up with creativity. The ocean becomes my sanctuary, its waves washing away the last of my pain, its vastness a reminder of how far I've come. I start dating again, a kind man named Daniel, a local librarian with a gentle smile and a love for history, who listens to my story without judgment, his hand warm in mine as we walk along the beach. I'm 34 now, and I've found a community that lifts me up. Friends who celebrate my victories and hold me through my grief. I think about Clara sometimes, not with anger, but with a quiet sadness for what could have been. She had a choice, to live with gratitude, to honor the gift I gave her, but she chose greed, and it destroyed her. Her death wasn't my fault. It was the consequence of her actions, a life spent running from the truth, chasing a happiness she could never hold. I've learned to forgive, not for her, but for me, to let go of the weight so I can soar, to release the guilt I carried for too long. I speak at conferences now, sharing my story to push for stricter laws against organ trafficking, my voice steady as I stand before crowds, my scar a badge of survival. Every time I tell it, I feel lighter, like I'm shedding the last pieces of her betrayal, reclaiming my narrative. Clara begged me to save her life, then sold my kidney for her selfish dreams. But in the end, she lost everything. Her life a cautionary tale etched in the headlines, while I gained a new beginning, a life of purpose and peace. Karma didn't just catch up with her. It set me free, and I'm living every day to honor the strength I found in the ashes of her betrayal.